time to fertilise my native garden for spring to stimulate a whole lot of new growth, which in turn will lead to an abundance of flowers through the warmer months. This year I've decided to experiment with some alternative natural ways of fertilising, because about a year ago I had a hazard reduction burn on the property and I tested the soil before and after and found a dramatic increase in nutrients in the soil after the burn. And that stimulated a whole lot of new growth and has synchronised the flowering in my Kangaroo lilies. So it got me thinking about other ways of fertilising my garden. Fire is actually the Australian bush's way of recycling nutrients. It's not widely known, but wood ash is a great source of plant nutrition. The ashes left over in fireplaces and barbecues are a good untapped source of nutrients. The ash contains a spectrum of trace elements and it's very rich in potassium, which is good for flowering. But it's also low in phosphorus, which means it's safe to use on phosphorus-sensitive native plants such as Waratahs, Banksias and Grevilleas. But I have to emphasise that you need to use it in small amounts because it's highly alkaline. These young Waratahs have been in for several years without fertiliser and they don't even look like flowering. In the wild, it's a plant that needs fire to trigger flowering and to set seed. So I'm going to experiment to see if the wood ash can speed up the growth and make them flower faster. I'm going to try at about the same rate as I would garden lime, a handful to the square metre, and then water it in really well. You can also use this stuff as a substitute for lime when you're preparing your vegetable beds, or you can use a few handfuls to sweeten a smelly, acidic compost heap. Animal manures have been used as a source of plant nutrients for thousands of years. Today I'm experimenting with an unusual type of animal manure, one I've sourced from the local animal park, Rupu. Traditional animal manures from intensively fed animals such as chickens and pigs I've found often too rich in nutrients for many native plants. In my experience, a much better option is to go for well-rotted manure from grazing animals such as horses and cattle. That's why I want to try this kangaroo manure. I'm going to use it as a source of nutrition for this young Kangaroo lily. Kangaroo lilies are tough plants, but their tall flower stem requires lots of energy to produce. So I'm top dressing with this kangaroo to give it a slow release source of nutrients to get it really charged up over the next few months as it gets established. The use of worm juice as a fertiliser is widespread, but not everyone knows that this is a really concentrated fertiliser, and whatever type of plant you're applying it to, you really need to dilute it before you use it. I like to go at least 1 in 10. Another thing is that the level of phosphorus in worm juice is about the same as a general purpose fertiliser. Now, I know there's a group of Australian plants that are not particularly phosphorus sensitive, so I want to try it out on those. I'm applying it to these kangaroo paws and dianellas to make sure they've got all the nutrition they need to thrive. In the coming weeks and months, I'll be closely observing the plants that I've applied the fertiliser to see how effective they are at keeping my native plants flowering and flourishing. I'll keep you posted.